you want to open up a gun store? Do you want to be the part of mega billion-dollar industry? If these are two yeses, this tutorial is for you. Hello, my name is Ali. I've been in pawn business for 17 years, and I've done from scratch to the learning to the legal systems, states, and everything. So this tutorial is very important for you. If you're investing your money into a gun store, then this is really a good place for you. And today I'm going to explain opening a gun store in 4 steps. And it'll be simple enough to really understand and start your journey with the gun store business. So let's go. Did you know that there are more gun stores in the United States? More than grocery stores, other shops, big businesses, all that together. We have more gun stores in the United States, which is a good news for you. If you are thinking to invest money into a gun store business, then let's go. And understand this is a mega billion-dollar industry, and if you want to be part of that, why not? Gun store business is very exciting business, you know, and the United States probably is the only country that has this much freedom with the guns. So some of my friends, they question about how to open up a gun store. In recent times, the gun store business has become very lucrative, and that includes the ammunition, guns, long-range guns, small guns, big guns, all guns. And I decided to make this tutorial so you can really understand this business. Number one thing is market search. And market search can be from your local areas to your outer surroundings and many other things that you can consider, because you got to know your area well. Why is that? Because there can be more stores, gun stores in your areas, and that includes from pawn shops to gun stores to big companies. All these big companies, Walmart used to sell guns, and Dick's Sporting Goods, and then many other places, you know. So I'm just naming that. So these places will be your competition. What you can do is really, when you do a good research in the marketplace, that's going to be your best friend. That's going to really put you on a ground level and a starting position with this thing where you don't have any confusion at all. So searching the market, you know, that's just very super important. And only you can do it, because the market that you are in, areas you are in, the counties you are in, states you are in, you know better than me and everybody else that doesn't live there. Searching the marketplace, don't be afraid of the competition, because competition is going to be there, okay? Because all these big companies, they're your competition. Small companies, small pawn shops, they're your competition. So do not worry about that. All you want to do is set your GPS for your store to a right place where you can prosper, open up, and enjoy this business and do it properly. Number 2 thing is understanding the legal system, laws. And in the United States, we have 50 states. So each state has different gun laws. Oh, by the way, watch this video till the end, because I'm going to give you a very good tip at the end. Which state is the really user-friendly with the guns, okay? Let's keep it like that, and at the end you will know that. So you will understand, and the legal system that includes the federal laws, then the county laws, the state laws, and the city laws. It can be so many laws, you know, and these are all the regulations that you have to really understand, and they should be on your side, okay? You don't want to be on the other side of the law, and that causes you so much trouble. And legal system, you know, and if you don't know that, that doesn't mean that you're not going to research yourself, you know. You can hire an attorney in your state or the county or the city that you are in. Why you want to do that? Because this is your preliminary. You must understand the laws of the state. Sometimes, laws are confusing, and just by simply reading them, you're not going to understand them. So it's important to really get somebody that can explain that legal system for you and what laws going to be pertaining your gun store business. The understanding that very important, okay? And I'm sure you can do that. If you have the passion to do that, you'll do anything to open up the right business that supports your need and your customers' need in your area, and that also satisfies the legal system. Without that, you can't do it. So it's just super important for you to really study the legal system and know the laws where you're going to open up the gun store. See, many times when I run into people, I see people don't have a business plan. So this number 3 that I'm going to talk about is having a great business plan. All the ins, outs about how to, all these things, they should be in black and white on paper. You're going to write it down so you understand what step to be taken. And part of the business plan is your credit line or something like that. It can be credit cards that you line up. It's totally up to you. But having a well-defined business plan is just a must. It's actually more important than anything else. So you must come up with a business plan. And business plan is just, you don't need a business planner, okay? And if you do have money to spend that, you can do that. But really, what you can do is just sit down and draw some lines and do some research, all these things that I'm talking about, But having a business plan is a must, okay? It's a must. You cannot go forward without that. Okay, so number 4 will be finding a location. You've done all those 3 steps that I talked about, and now you're ready for the location. And location is crucial. Again, you want to make sure, this is a good place where people can in and out quickly, and your area. It's a good area where you don't have much troubles. So you want to find a location. And one key point that I can really point at is you want to find somewhere where your rent is not that much. Because if your rent is so much, I promise you it's going to bother you in the process. When the all excitement and everything just kind of like cools down, then reality hits, and renting a place is a reality. As long as you're going to have a gun store, you're going to be dealing with landlords and also the monthly rent. That's going to be something to really think about it. And then find the location, that you can easily open up and set it up, and then really, follow everything that we talked about in this video. And then you should prosper, exciting part is you will be part of this mega billion-dollar industry, okay? This is not guns, stores, and guns in the United States. It's not a small place to be. It's a huge place, And gun stores in the United States, they're between $5 to $7 billion business in the United States. So you're not going to be a small speck in the spectrum. Your gun store is going to be part of this big horizon, okay? But first thing first, things have to be right. Things have to be considered. Things have to be talked about and discussed about, because those things, once after you start, and if you're missing some steps, that's going to be hard. Okay, so we completed those 4 steps, that seems so easy, but those are big steps. That has to be really completed. And now it's time for you to get the license, okay? The licensing is totally different from all those steps that you took. You got your financials together, you got your market survey, who your competition is, your place to rent. You've done all this. And the license. And I will say, this can be number 1 of all these 4, considering the license. You got to have a great background, because it's going to be a federal background check, and you must pass it. And if you don't pass it, you're not going to get the license. Federal laws in the United States, they are everything but simple. So people are going to check you out, inside out, and about you, everything. And don't be afraid of that. Just and it takes a while to do that. Once you're completed the federal licensing process, they're going to give you a federal license. And right at this time, roughly it's about 64,000 licenses, gun store licenses, and more coming. You might be one of them upcoming. So the licensing, federal firearm license, that's just very important. Without that, you cannot even move. You cannot even spend a dime, or you cannot even have a gun for sale. Personally, you can do that, but I mean, we're talking about a gun store. To be in a gun store, you're going to need that federal license. And just prepare yourself better for that. Okay, so we've done all those 4 or 5 things, and in the process, I don't want to make this video too lengthy, big, where you just bored up and everything, so we want to keep things simple. And you're smart guys, if you're thinking about pawn business, you're definitely a smart guy, and I gave it to you, and you will be really taking care of your business. The next thing you can do is, when you went through all those steps, then it's time to set up your store. You got the rental agreements, and you got the place and all that. So what do you need for that? Number one, you're going to need a couple safes, and I'm not talking about gun safes, the small ones that you see at the Walmart, no, we're talking about big that weighs about 500 pounds or maybe 1,000 pounds, depending upon how much money you're spending and how big you're going to be operating. So you're going to need a safe accordingly. And you just want to start good with the safe, because with the gun safety and keeping the bad guy away from you, that's important to have that. So that's number one thing to consider, and that's going to cost you $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. If you can find a used one, it might be cheaper. And then your counters, showcases. You want to display your guns, and in the meantime, you also have to decide, are you going to be just dealing with the handguns, or are you going to be doing long hunting guns, shotguns, AR-15s, all those things, and these things have to be decided by you before you open up your doors. Because I've seen some pawn shops, they will have the shotguns and everything sitting on the floor, and they're not locked and they're not chained, and that's a bad business, and guns are not toys. So you just want to be a responsible gun store that really takes care of that, okay? Okay, so once you open up your gun store, number one thing to consider is a background check system. There are several companies online that you can buy their software and stuff like that. Some of them are quick, some of them still take like 2 days or so. So you just want to make sure, how fast you want to do it, how fast you want to sell the guns, and how fast you can just get your revenues flowing and going, or pawning or selling, whatever you want to do it. So you gotta do this thorough background check on people. There is no forgiveness in that, okay? There's no forgiveness. There is no under the table. Everything is on the table, up front, okay? That thing is just crucial to understand, because I've seen so many pawn shops, they got in trouble big time, just because they think, it's okay to buy a gun without license, or it's okay to buy a gun without documentations. The documentations, and depending upon your states, your record keeping will be between 5 and 7 years, and I will say make it 8 years. It doesn't hurt, because you're there for a long haul, okay? So you got to have the records. Record keeping should be somebody very responsible, yourself, somebody that you can really trust on a daily basis. When you have a gun store, all the documentation, every gun that comes to your store and leaves your store, it better be documented completely, and I cannot stress enough on that, because that's your trouble area right there, and authorities, when they come in, they're not going to treat you as a naive, a playish pawnbroker that gun store owner that didn't know the laws and stuff like that. It's all away from that. So you just want to make sure that your record keeping is just solid like a fist. Another good tip that I can share with you is payment processing system, POS system. You just want to consider some nice ones. You just don't want to use your pocket as a payment center, okay? You just want to make sure the payments that come to you, everything goes to the processor system, you know. That means it's going to give you weekly, monthly, however you set it, quarterly reports, and that's important. That goes with your records and all that too, because whatever money you went out, it just comes in. Obviously you bought those guns to resell them, and you're going to make those profits, and you're going to take those payments from people. That's the pretty cheesy stuff, but it has regulation, you know. So you must consider a good POS system that just really takes care of you. There are few in the marketplace that you can consider to get the software, or however you plan to do it. Another good thinking and parts that I can share with you is gun store business is all about legal system, okay? It is all about legal system. So you want to study the laws like back of your hand, okay? You want to study it, you want to read it. There is no excuse for that. And in recent years, it has been a lot of political tension over guns for different reasons, okay? And that had put this gun business on fire, okay? Sometimes it's just way high, and sometimes, you know, people are just discussing, we're going to make the new gun laws and this, that, and other. And then our liberties and considerably everything that we have, our Constitution. So the Congress has some restrictions about that. They tried to, after some bad shootings and this, that, and other, you know, they tried to make new laws, but there's some liberties in the path that stops them. But that doesn't mean that gun business is going to go away. It will not. It's just your job to just kind of like be a user-friendly gun store, you know, where everything is flowing and glowing and it's working in your benefit. Okay, as I promised, the final tip. Which state in the United States is the most user-friendly for gun business, gun store? Did you know what it is? Is it Georgia? Is it Alabama, Connecticut, New York? Which one? Do you know it? Please write in the comments, okay? But the one that from my research came across is the state of Texas. State of Texas is the most user-friendly for the gun owners, gun stores, and gun pawn shops and everything, you know. This is the only state we have that is humongously big, user-friendly with the gun laws. So if you're in Texas, you're in good hands. Other states, they have laws, but no bad laws in the states. Every state has slightly different laws, and they support differently in its point of view and location of the state and all that. So if you're in Texas, make it happen. If you're in Georgia, make it happen. If you're in California, make it happen. All you gotta do is just follow the laws. Please like, subscribe, and comment. That's the only communication we have, and I want you to communicate with me. Other than that, I will never know what I did right or wrong. So you're the force I want to travel with. Let's meet in the next video, okay? Until then, you take care of yourself.